When did someone hurt themselves and somehow blame you for it? My coworker stole my lunch straight out of the fridge and then accused me of attempted murder when their throats started closing up. Careful with that pad thai, my friend said as I walked past her desk Tuesday morning. The food thief's been especially bold lately. I just laughed it off because I'd been working here for a year and my lunch had never been touched. And besides, my name was written in thick black Sharpie across the lid of my distinctive purple container. Who would be stupid enough to steal something so clearly labeled? But things had apparently gotten so bad that my coworker started writing "contains laxatives" on her perfectly normal sandwiches, and I'd been stupidly confident that my luck would continue. I was deep in my work when I heard what sounded like someone knocking over chairs in the break room. Then Derek, our newly promoted director, came stumbling out with his face already going puffy and red. His hands were at his throat and he was making these horrible wheezing sounds. "EpiPen," he gasped, fumbling at his pockets. "Can't breathe." Someone called 911 while another coworker helped him with the EpiPen. In the chaos, I ran to see what happened and found my purple container open on the counter. My pad thai was half eaten, and my name in black marker stared up at me like an accusation. The peanut sauce was still visible on the fork. My boss called me into his office the next day. "I have to ask," he said, looking uncomfortable. "Did you know Derek had a peanut allergy?" I told him I had no idea. Derek and I barely interact, and it's not like he wore a medical alert bracelet or ever mentioned it. I pulled out that day's lunch, which was also pad thai because I'd made a huge batch, and ate several bites in front of him. "This is literally what I eat 3 times a week," I said. He nodded, seeming satisfied. "Derek shouldn't have taken your food. This is on him." I thought that was the end of it. Then a week later, HR called me in for a formal investigation. Derek sat there with the HR director, arms crossed, explaining how I'd obviously targeted him. "She's been jealous ever since my promotion," he said, giving me this condescending look. He claimed he only borrowed food when he had back-to-back meetings, like it was some noble sacrifice. She left it right in front, like bait. The HR director, a woman I'd never seen smile, was bizarrely aggressive. When my boss tried to defend me by saying the container was clearly labeled, she wouldn't even look at him. "We can't prove Derek stole anything," she said. "For all we know, you offered it to him. This looks like a calculated attack on someone in a vulnerable position." Then she actually suggested Derek should sue me for reckless endangerment and emotional distress from nearly dying. My boss kept trying to interject, but she steamrolled over him every time. "This could be considered assault," she said, leaning forward. "You brought a deadly weapon into the workplace." "It's pad thai," I said. "It's food, my food, with my name on it." 2 days later, I was called into HR and fired on the spot. She seized her opportunity perfectly. With the owner gone on business for the past month, she knew no one could stop her. She cited workplace endangerment and malicious intent, then had security escort me through the office with my belongings in a cardboard box, making sure everyone saw me leave like some kind of criminal. The humiliation lasted about as long as my drive home, but the rage fueled me for days. I documented everything and started reaching out to employment lawyers, ready to fight this, but I didn't have to, because 1 week later the owner himself called me. It turns out my boss had been documenting everything and sending updates to him throughout the ordeal. Given the severity of the accusations and potential legal liability, the owner had quietly hired a private investigator to look into the situation. What they uncovered was damning. The HR director and Derek had been romantically involved for months, with credit card records showing romantic dinners and hotel stays. The investigator also interviewed multiple employees who'd seen them arriving together in the mornings and leaving in the same car. Most shocking was the discovery of 3 previous complaints from women about Derek stealing their lunches, all of which had been buried by HR without any follow-up or documentation. As a final touch, the investigators' photos of their romantic dinners somehow found their way to both of their spouses. The owner apologized profusely and told me Derek and the HR director had been terminated for malicious intent and conspiracy to defraud. Then he offered me something I couldn't refuse, Derek's director position. So now I enjoy my weekly pad thai from the executive conference room that used to be Derek's domain.